Hey yo, Goose here. Just giving a thanks for you, the listener, for checking us out. This is a bit of a warning that this pilot episode is insanely scuffed, and we're still kind of experimenting a bit with the formatting. A lot of the audio isn't the best, I know, and we kind of go all over the place, but we've added audio cues to let you know when topics change and when we're veered back on track after going a little too silly with it. If you hear a recal sound effect or a random on a voice line, then that's what that is. This entire thing is a bit of a test, lots of experimentation going on around here, but hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Welcome back to Lorewatch. If this is your first time here, yes it is. And if it isn't, you're lying. Or from the future. I don't really care. I'm Geese Dave Goose. I'm the #1 soldier apologist, my pronouns are they, them, and I love my wife, Reggie Buckworth. And here, I'm joined with two beautiful co-hosts.
Hi, my name is Reyes Thighs. I'm the #1 Reaper apologist. I love him. He is my wife and my baby girl, and I make weird tier lists like who has the best shirt, who has the best grippers, and who has the best lips.
And hello there, I'm Linnea, or Nea. I am the #1, was the #1, Bronze 5 baddie. Now I'm a Bronze 3 baddie, y'all. Take that. My baby girl is Hanzo Shimada. I could talk about that man all day for hours and hours on end.
But unfortunately, that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, we'll be talking about Ana Amari. One of the founding members of Overwatch, Ana uses her skills and expertise to defend her home and the people she cares for, and our #1 mother of the game.
MILF and GILF energy with her.
Multi-talented queen!
Indeed. She has many talents and special abilities according to Overwatch's Declassified, including military training, advanced hand-eye coordination, and is an overall inspirational leader and pretty good sniper.
Pretty good. I think she's a little better than pretty good.
Okay, you Widowmaker apologist.
Excuse me, I'm a Reaper apologist?
No, not you. We're with you on that. Anyone who, thinks Ana is pretty good, Widowmaid.
They're on that Smurf side.
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not. I'm not bitter. I'm not.
Defeat.
Anyways.
So, what can you tell us more about Ana Amari?
Well, we've thankfully been gifted with the Overwatch Declassified book that now goes into a bit more about her before the fall of Overwatch, which is great, because until then, we've only known about what she's been up to in the present timeline. With Declassified out, we can now know more about her before the crisis, and her time as Overwatch's third in command. So, without further ado...
Ana checking in.
Ana Amari was born in Cairo, Egypt, to a long line of distinguished military veterans. She learned how to handle a rifle at a young age, becoming an expert marksperson by the time she was in high school. Which is pretty young in my opinion, but what can you do?
No, and it's funny how she gives Diva, crap about that, being like, wow, you're pretty young to be here and doing all of this when she was in high school, therefore younger than Diva. Yeah.
Back in my day, kids your age were in school.
Yet still shooting.
Fighting battles at such a young age. I hope you remember to take time for yourself.
Sometimes, but I have so much to do.
That's always the excuse.
After graduation, Amari enlisted in the Egyptian army and ultimately joined the Osaka forces, where she earned a reputation as one of Egypt's most dangerous snipers. While at a coffee shop in Cairo, Amari met the man who would become her husband, Sam English, a Canadian diplomat of First Nations descent.
Why do you hate that guy so much?
I just do.
You just hate him for no reason?
Yep.
Fair. Everybody needs a hater to keep him humble.
I'm so glad that Farah kept her mom's last name.
If they got married and we had Anna English.
Ugh.
Mm-mm.
Does not sit well. Splitting his time between Egypt and Canada, English and Amari dated casually for years, but the two were often in transit. Things changed when Amari discovered she was pregnant.
What?
Oh my god.
At which point they married and settled down in Cairo. Their daughter, Fariha, was only 6 when the Omnic crisis began. and both Amari and English's jobs became vitally important to the health of their nations. Canada was facing the horrors of the Detroit Omnium, and Egypt was surprised by the staggering numbers of warbots flooding their country. You can
Detroit map when?
Detroit map would be just King's Row, but worse.
Here's the thing. You go from the state side to Canada side. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm. You have to go... There's an entire choke point, which is the border potential.
No, wait, it's a push map, so you're just trying to get the bot onto your side of the map. The checkpoints are border control.
Each country is fighting for custody, and it has to go through border patrol each time, and they ask it questions like it's a person. Are you bringing any fruits or vegetables over with you?
Any dangerous firearms with you?
Purpose of
Do you have any
visitation.
fireworks in your trunk?
Amari's skills were invaluable, and without her presence, many battles would have been better categorized as tragedies. When Amari was approached to join Overwatch, her colleagues were ecstatic for her, celebrating the elevation of one of their own. Meanwhile, her superiors were furious, fighting tooth and nail against what they viewed as a plundering of their national resources. She was worth no less than 10 snipers in the field, and the UN did not offer replacements to fill the hole her absence would create. In the end, Egypt's commitment to the Overwatch project was stronger than the objections of Amari's superiors, and she was allowed to depart for Overwatch training, her eyes set towards what would hopefully become a bright future, secure for her daughter.
They were probably only paying her as much as one sniper.
That is so real.
We all know what that's like.
Anna Amari saw that glass ceiling and said, not for me.
In Overwatch, Amari attained the rank of captain, its third in command. She mentored many young agents, like Cole Cassidy, and successfully led multiple major missions, including the well-known Operation White Dome, which we'll get into later. Over her tenure with the agency, colleagues described her as a stabilizing force among leadership, able to quickly take control of tense situations.
I mean, it's not that hard when you have a sleep dart, just easiest way to end any fight.
I don't think that's quite ethical.
Sometimes you gotta commit a few war crimes for world peace.
Sometimes you gotta dose a few children to make an omelet.
That is certainly a sentence of all time. Now, there was some courting controversy when she was first approached to join Overwatch, because Gabrielle Adawe is based and we love her. And if you didn't know, Adawe was the Undersecretary General of the UN during and shortly after the Omnic Crisis, and one of the key architects in the formation of Overwatch.
So she's like the Nick Fury of Overwatch.
Her first two recruitments for Overwatch were Jack Morrison and Gabriel Reyes, who were both from the American Soldier Enhancement Program. Her third recruit, of course, was Anna Amari from Egypt. With her impeccable aim, steady hand, and rumors saying she swayed more than one battle against Anubis' forces entirely on her own, she was a pretty good choice for the third position. However, from a purely PR perspective, she was not enhanced beyond levels available to the average citizen. While her cybernetic eye gave her an edge by removing the need for scopes or visual corrections, it was something that anyone with the funds and the willingness to sacrifice a biological eye for could have access to. As a result, Amari became a symbol for many soldiers around the globe, proof that hard work, dedication, and talent could win the fight. But with her recruitment came some courting controversy. The few critics of Amari's recruitment were quick to seize on this, her gender and her nationality, as proof that she was really being tokenized to conceal the American exceptionalism at the heart of the program. Adawe's response to these critics remained one of the few documented times she lost her temple in a public forum. And this is just an excerpt from that forum, which I think is very cool, and I will now read out loud. Our first priority is offense, and our first two recruits were close and mid-range gunners. A sniper was the obvious third choice, and there is no sniper in this world better than Anna Amari. She has a spotless military record and peerless credentials. So I would ask the public, am I the one tokenizing her by recruiting her, or are you, for presuming her abilities to be lesser than her male peers? And if you object to us asking a woman to save the world, please recall that women have been saving the world since the beginning. I am here to offer fellowship and support to the best the world has to offer, nationality and all else be damned. If you are unable to see that, perhaps I should abandon my efforts. Perhaps we are already too wounded to save.
God damn, mic drop.
We love a feminist icon.
Gabrielle Adawe, ladies and gentlemen. Fun fact, she is also the founder of Numbani.
Children, behave.
And as of right now, that is all we have from the new declassified book. So, transitioning into the 100% accurate Overwatch wiki page, we will begin to go into the more detailed parts of Anna's life, more specifically in the stories of Legacy, Old Soldiers, Bastet, Valkyrie, and New Blood.
A mother's work is never done.
Hailing from a long line of decorated soldiers, Anna inspired confidence and loyalty in her colleagues and endowed her daughter, Fariha Amari, otherwise known as Farah, with an intense sense of duty and honor. Like her daughter, she bore a tattoo of the Eye of Horus as a symbol of protection. Likewise, her call sign in the Egyptian military during the Omelette crisis was Horus. To this day, Anna is regarded as a hero by the Egyptian people, even after her passing. And for those who don't know, the Eye of Horus in ancient Egypt symbolizes protection, health, and restoration.
Fair. That healing part is interesting. Not because she's a healer, but because she needs to heal the relationship with her daughter.
Fun fact, actually, Anna's story mimics the Egyptian myth of Horus somewhat, and how he lost his eye in a struggle with Set, who was an old friend. In this case, Set would be Widowmaker.
That's interesting.
Ooh, that would be so, because they were talking about doing an ancient Egyptian battle pass. If they give Widowmaker, did you say, was it pronounced Seth?
Oh, Set.
Set.
God of deserts, storms, disorder, violence, and foreigners.
Oh, and foreigners.
And foreigners. Anna, once celebrated as one of the deadliest snipers in the world, is known for her ability to stay still for hours, waiting for the perfect shot. Initially equipped with a Kinemura rifle, she marked each life she took with a notch on the weapon. Despite her making sure each kill was clean and without needless suffering, the weight of each kill burdened her conscience. Her right eye, originally cybernetic, made her vision 6 times greater than normal, to the extent where she rarely even needed to use her scope. That isn't true for me when I play her, though. My aim is horrible.
I want to say mean things about the needless suffering thing, but I don't want to make this all about her bad relationship with her daughter. The mommy issues do seem very generational in that family. She has way too much experience. She's way too good at that.
Despite availability of procedures to repair her cybernetic eye, she chooses to wear an eye patch, seeing it and the constant phantom pain as a reminder of who she is now. In light of her experiences, Anna now prefers to avoid taking lives when possible, in contrast to her earlier approach of never leaving an enemy alive.
The only reason she does not one-shot you in the game is because she's showing you mercy.
Yeah, the only reason why her needles do damage over time makes sense.
For accurate gameplay.
Anna initially struggled as a cook and field dresser, but improved her medic skills by the time she reunited with Fariha. After the initial success of Overwatch's mission, Anna served as a second command to Strike Commander Jack Morrison for many years. During this time, she raised her daughter, Fariha, and trained her in martial arts. Despite her leadership role, Anna remained involved in combat operations, causing tensions with Fariha, who desired to join Overwatch. Anna, against her daughter's wishes, refused to support Fariha's aspiration. A strained relationship ensued, with Anna even denying Fariha a toy rifle, telling her that she'd shoot her eye out. Anna later came to regret her comments, realizing their impact on their relationship.
I mean, then again, would you trust a lesbian with a rifle like that?
Yes.
I have experienced too many crazy Faras. I would not trust them with a rifle. They kill themselves with their own rocket launchers.
No comments on whether or not lesbians should be able to have guns.
But it's a Fara type lesbian.
Oh. No comments on whether or not feral lesbians should have guns.
Similarly, she eventually came to regret dissuading Fariha from joining Overwatch, as seen in interactions between them in both Overwatch 1 and 2.
I always dreamed of the day we would fight together.
Wanting a better life for you was all I ever dreamed of.
Mom, I know why you didn't want me to join Overwatch, but it's still what I want.
I didn't want that life for you, but I know that it's your decision, and I will support it. So you're going with Cole, joining Overwatch.
Isn't that what you want?
What I want never should have mattered to begin with.
You're still hiding. When are you coming back for good?
I'm trying, Fariha. Please be patient with me.
I've been patient for years. What's a little while longer?
A little side thing to further prove her skill, Anna was responsible for the assassination of the Vykovsky kingpins. At a range of 300 meters, she fired once and both criminals fell. However, years later, Anna derived no satisfaction from the double kill.
They should give her that ability in-game to be able to shoot people.
Yeah, I think she should shoot through people.
I thought you were saying they should give her the ability to shoot people in game.
Shoot people out, yes!
Anna remained on active duty well into her 50s and was stationed at Watchpoint Gibraltar at some point, to which by then she developed a close relationship with Lieutenant Reinhard Wilhelm. The actual amount of Anna Hart voice lines, they're in love, Your Honor.
Reinhard, I must say you're looking quite well. This life must agree with you.
And you are looking as lovely as ever. Just like old times, hey, Anna?
Reinhard, things may change, but you never do. This is just like old times, Reinhard.
The old timers must stick together. Teach these kids a thing or two.
You answered Winston's recall, even after all you went through.
If I am called and I do not answer, what is left, Anna?
You are left, Reinhard, and that is nothing to scoff at.
Do you remember that night? Dancing in the command center until dawn.
We were foolish, weren't we?
Perhaps we still are.
If they were to make one ship canon, just one, I would give up all of my gay ships for Anna Hart. Or just even like a single acknowledgement being like, you know what, it would have been you. That would have made me cry even more.
They're never too old for a new romance. It's so cute.
Anna was present when Gabriel Rios brought in former outlaw Colt Cassidy into the organization. She surmised that Cassidy had great instincts, talent, the ability to remain cool under fire, and was highly adaptable. She could tell that Cassidy had been trapped by the life he'd been previously living, and eventually they grew close with one another, which is very, very cute.
You said adaptable, and I heard adoptable. I was like, no, you already messed up one kid.
She's like, I can fix this.
I can't fix him, but I can put him in a little box and shake him around a lot.
Children, behave.
Freaking Operation Whitedown. Because this was actually the mission, I believe, where Torbjorn almost died, but then Ryan saved him or something, and then I got to name Brigitte, which is pretty wholesome. Operation White Dome was an Overwatch mission that took place during or after the Omnic Crisis. A strike team under the command of Captain Amari and another Overwatch member was deployed to the outskirts of Istanbul to deal with a pocket of Omnic resistance. Personnel included Lieutenant Reinhard Wilhelm, Chief Engineer Torbjorn Lindholm, and Private First Class Emir Saryoglu. After routine insertion, the team was ambushed, taking heavy fire from the entrenched Omnics. While the battle saw all the Omnics being subdued, both Wilhelm and Lindholm were injured, seriously in the case of the latter. But eventually, Wilhelm managed to save Lindholm's life. In the after-action report, Anna commended Wilhelm for his conspicuous bravery, and suggested that he receive a commendation for his actions.
Children, behave.
Anna's last mission was an anti-Talon operation conducted to rescue a number of scientists that Talon had taken hostage. While Overwatch was successful in this regard, the Talon operative, known as Widowmaker, was able to take out a number of agents. The operation led to a sniper duel between her and Anna.
I think Anna knew who that was and couldn't bring herself to killing.
That's just a skill issue.
It's mentioned later that the mask comes off and she's like, oh my god, Emily, no. And then she gets shot.
And then it was believed that the shot killed her. But in truth, Anna survived that encounter, despite being gravely wounded and the destruction of her cybernetic eye. The world believed that she was, well, dead.
Tragically, she died. But she lived!
Hallelujah.
She woke up in Poland with temporary amnesia, unable to remember who she was or how she was injured. She was treated under the Polish generic Jana Kowalski, which is the equivalent to a Jane Doe, by Dr. Lee, who is just a doctor that is mentioned, but It's kind of a weird name for a Polish doctor, I'm just saying. During her months-long recovery, she was able to recall the details of the mission, but in an interesting decision to make, she let her daughter believe that she was dead, as she reasoned that Fariha would expect Captain Amari to return home. However, with that moment of hesitation in her sniper duel with Widowmaker, she realized that she had changed. Years later, however, she'd come to regret her decision again to leave Fariha in the dark. Wrestling with the weight of a life spent in combat, Ana chose to stay out of the world's growing conflicts. She heard about the destruction of Overwatch's headquarters and the supposed death of Jack Morrison and Gabriel Reyes. However, she had her doubts as to whether they'd actually died. And during her travels, somehow, Ana passed through Junkertown once or twice. Which is incredibly ominous, but...
What was she doing there?
Just some travel, some sightseeing.
Just going on a little scenic stroll through the wasteland of Australia.
She was doing her Eat, Pray, Love journey and just decided, you know what? Going to Junkertown.
Radiation never hurt nobody.
Ana originally returned to Cairo with the intention of living quietly to be close to her daughter. Over time, she observed that Overwatch was actually more responsible for the city's problems. Realizing she couldn't stay on the sidelines any longer, Ana decided to rejoin the fight to protect her country and loved ones from destabilizing forces. Despite writing letters to her daughter explaining her absence, Ana never received a response back. Now, her primary goal is to ensure the safety of her family and allies while combating threats to her city. But in regards to Farah responding to her letters, I guess you could say that she got ghosted.
That's what happens when you do the ghosting. You get ghosted back.
Farah was like, maybe you're not really dead, but you're dead to me.
Continuing her fight for justice, Ana operated under the alias of Shrike, and used the necropolis as her base while being wanted by Egyptian authorities. Disguised as a masked bounty hunter, Ana sabotaged several Talon operations in Egypt, drawing attention from Reaper and his associate Abdul Hakim, as well as Jack Morrison, still alive despite his supposed death years ago. The conflict came to a head when Ana and Morrison were lured into a trap at Hakim's compound in Giza, leading to a battle between the three former comrades. Though Ana sided with Jack and forced Reaper to retreat after unmasking him, she was disturbed by his new visage and parting words, reminding her that Overwatch had been responsible for their suffering. Following the encounter, Ana resolved to watch over Jack as the two fled, explaining that she still cared about him as a person.
Reaper just being the ominous one, being like, yo, I know the fucking truth and all that.
He showed his face, he shot Morrison, and then he left. He did nothing and then he left.
Honestly, that's what Reapers do. They teleport in, you hit them once, they wraith out.
Love that for my baby girl. Do you think if he turned into, like, wraith form, he would get bogged down by all the water and go down a drain? I bet if they ever got in a fight, Martina would vacuum him up. Oh, you disagreed on me? I'm turning on the ceiling fan.
And now we go on to Bastet. Ana was left with the realization that Jack and Reyes were actually alive. Still, living or not, Jack had been wounded by Reyes and passed out while they were attempting to stay out of sight from Egyptian authorities. Ana was forced to take him back to the necropolis, to which she gave him tea after he woke up. The two then discussed their pasts and their objectives. Jack was dead set on going after Reaper and Talon, but he needed to rest first. Despite Jack's protests, he passed out again, since Ana had drugged the tea that he was drinking.
Back to the thing about dosing children. Oh my god. Gotta dose a few super soldiers to make an omelet.
How many times do you think she's done that to her teammates as well? Just being like, you know what, I'm done with you. Have some tea.
I don't want to be in this meeting. I made tea for everyone. I'm not drinking it. Don't ask why.
Jack was out for a whole 2 days, over which Ana spent time gathering supplies. She explained her motivations for her actions in Egypt, but claimed that Jack's crusade against Talon was based on revenge.
That's so unhealthy of him. I love it.
The two disagreed on how to approach things, with Jack focusing on the larger threat of Talon, while Ana wanted to focus on Cairo alone. Eventually, they settled on a deal. He'd help Ana capture Hakim, and after that, they'd go after Reaper, under the condition that they'd also apprehend Hakim's associates. With the deal made, they were still in Egypt during Christmas times, which they can be seen in the wonderful Reflections Christmas comic.
Well, Merry Christmas to them.
I was so sad when I googled what a necropolis was. I thought it was going to be something so cool, and it was just an old cemetery. Imagine sleeping surrounded by a bunch of old, dead people.
I mean, the dead love to remain around the dead.
Get it? Because they're, technically all legally dead.
If I were in that situation, I would never trust anyone again. I would have so many trust issues. Like, I'm dead, my boss is dead, his coworker is dead.
Is the Queen of England even dead?
Is the Queen of England even real at this point? God.
Look, did Widowmaker actually kill the head monk guy? Is he actually dead, or will it be revealed, yes, I've been alive this whole time?
Gerard never died. He just went on vacation.
Anyone who has canonically died ever in the Overwatch universe is actually still alive.
The trust issues are gonna be so bad.
Oh my god. Lori's people are the only one that actually died, and she was just waiting for them to come back like everyone else.
No.
Oh, no one in this world dies! Not her!
Imagine the only people who died, and it's your fault.
Wait, I'm so sorry for making that joke!
Within a week, they'd rounded up a number of Hakim's associates, whittling away at his organization. One night on stakeout, they finally caught sight of Hakim, at which point Anna took out her Bastet mask. She explained that Jack's Soldier 76 persona had inspired her, and so she developed a new alias. As Bastet, she wouldn't be a hunter, but a protector, which of course is a reference to the Egyptian cat goddess of protection, pleasure, and the bringer of good health.
Is Overwatch just filled with theater majors? What is wrong with them? Stop making new personalities. You don't need a costume.
But funny
Good
cat
kitty.
mask. Funny
Good
cat
kitty.
mask.
Look, Overwatch is proof of what happens when you let theater majors join the military, and same with Talon.
Creative arts majors can never be allowed to join the military. We just can't let it happen.
A week later, Hakim had been captured and his organization dismantled. Anna's actions as Bastet had caught the attention of Egypt's media and even forced the government to act. Morrison was still suffering the gunshot wound he'd suffered from Reaper, so the two of them left the necropolis and were forced to visit Angela Ziegler, currently based in Cairo. That night, Talon had attacked the Temple of Anubis facility. Ziegler unconcernedly told them that the Helix would get it under control, but Morrison simply replied, "It's Talon," to make her actually care about what was going on. Because every time there's a problem, it's gotta be Talon.
Jack Morrison stubs his toe. Talon.
Someone eats all of the Christmas cookies? Talon!
Anna's daughter never talks to her anymore. Talon.
Still, Angela didn't budge. Anna, taking a more diplomatic approach, pointed out that there were people caught in the crossfire, and that they'd need help. Ziegler then finally relented. All of them fled to the site to help out. The next day, they met up with Ziegler again. Jack and Anna planned to pursue Reaper into Europe, and Morrison asked if Ziegler would join them. Ziegler refused, stating that her place was in Cairo. Angela and Ziegler then discussed their respective choices post-Overwatch, including the matter of the recall that Winton had sent out. But ultimately, she decided to soon follow Morrison in his pursuit after doing a few more things in Egypt. Anna remained uncertain about Winston's recall order, but decided to continue to help her comrades from the shadows. Anna is watching from the shadows.
She's in the goddamn walls.
And here is a little excerpt from the conversation Mercy and Anna had. Our generation's war is over. Every generation has one. Why do we fight? For blood? For money? For king and country? For justice? For what we believe in? It's not always on the battlefield. Some wars last for decades, but ours was over in an instant. Gabriel built our team to save humanity, but he couldn't rebuild afterwards. Adawi and the others thought Morrison was the one who could. He looked the part, after all. The war hero, compassionate, brave, confident, political, but at the end of the day, a soldier. And all soldiers only know one way to live. We aren't meant to change the world, just to save it.
I will not leave a broken world behind.
New blood time, new blood time, new blood time.
New blood, new blood!
I rather liked the old blood, actually.
Nah, I'm kind of actually sick of the, original Overwatch squad. I'm sorry, Torb, but like, Baptiste, Zarya, Farah? At some point after Valkyrie, Anna sent Cole Cassidy a note, simply written, Charmer, time to talk, followed by coordinates. Anna knew that Cassidy had survived the fall of Overwatch and had returned as a gunslinger for hire. She also knew that a return to Overwatch would need new blood, and worried that a return of the old guard would poison Overwatch's return. Cassidy arrived in Cairo, finding Anna in a restaurant, and revealed that he knew that she was the one who sent that note. The pair talked long into the night, reliving old times, before the subject of Vincent's recall came up. Cassidy was mum as to whether he would head back. Anna, however, explained that Talon was hunting ex-Overwatch agents, and that it had attacked Watchpoint Gibraltar. Cassidy suggested that a reformed Overwatch would need leaders like her, but Anna grimly asked if he wanted to relive the past. Their reunion was cut short, however, as they were attacked by Talon troopers. Because it's always Talon. Talon's just always there.
I just love it how it's always like, everything was fine until the Talent Nation attacked.
Like I said, every issue is just Talon.
They're just like, oh, you've been talking too long. Here comes the dancing Talon members.
Your tea's cold. It's Talon.
Someone cut you off in line at the supermarket? Talon agent, for sure.
They fought their way through the market, and Anna took Cassidy to one of her hideouts. Afterward, she gave him a USB containing data on the threats she'd been monitoring, along with a number of individuals she'd been tracking. Hana Song, Alexandria Zaryanova, and her own daughter, Fariha Amari. Each of them were fighting their own battles, and she wanted Cassidy to find them and lead them as a cohesive force. Cassidy commented that if he did this, he'd be leaving behind what Overwatch was, what he was. Smiling, Anna told him that it was a good thing. It was good to learn from the past, but ultimately, it should be left there. Me when I have a USB drive containing the finest people.
If Anna Amari knew about Hana Song, does that mean she watched her on Twitch? Well, the Overwatch equivalent to Twitch.
I feel like she wouldn't know what a Twitch was and just thought she was popular because of normal TV. I don't know. Actually, no, she does. Actually, yeah, no.
She would know.
She would
She's
know.
born right now.
She's alive right now, watching the Generation 3 Monster High. I don't know.
She's a Cocomelon kid.
I refuse to believe that. Cassidy first tracked down Fariha and brought her to see her mother. The two had an awkward reunion. She mentioned the letters she had written, but Fariha said that if Anna had anything to say, that she could have just said it directly. But, of course, the reunion was interrupted by another Talon ambush. They all did their typical beat-up Talon plans, which was a success besides a finale where Fariha unleashed a rocket barrage that wiped out their attackers, but not before being wounded. Anna rushed over to her daughter and treated her wounds despite her protests, and she explained her regrets about the lives she's taken, and how she's refused to kill ever since. But out of all of her regrets, the greatest was steering her daughter away from the life she wanted. Fariha told her that she couldn't take it back, to which Anna agreed. But perhaps she could set some things right. She told Fariha that the world had suffered from her mistakes, and it needed heroes again. Fariha needed a team that would help her achieve her full potential. She couldn't find that with Helix, but she could with Cassidy, if she went with him. Fariha refused, preferring to remain with Helix, at least for the time being, and she gave her mother a final goodbye, hugging her, and after that, flew off. Cassidy noticed that Anna's cover was blown, given the carnage they'd just unleashed, and asked if she needed help getting settled. Anna was barely listening, however, as she watched her daughter fly off into the night sky. Ultimately, Cassidy realized that she'd be okay. When she asked him where he'd head next, he responded that he had his eyes on someone up north, cough cough Baptiste, and departed.
I want to know how he came to that conclusion. Like, there's this poor old woman watching her daughter who she has a very bad relationship with leave her, and he's just like, oh yeah, she's fine.
She's former Captain Amari. She's fine.
Honestly, she's in better hands by herself than she would be with him.
With a loud cowboy with spurs.
He jingles around the place like a belled cat.
Yeah, I like to think that he naturally has just the most silent footsteps, so they gave him boots with spurs so they could hear where he is when he walks into a room.
It was Anna's idea.
Shoulda got them apple bottom jeans, boots with the spurs.
With the spurs. Her reunion with her daughter complete, Anna departed with Morrison, and now they travel the globe, hunting down Talon agents. Upcoming, however, in March, during Heroes Ascendant, Anna and Morrison apparently traveled to Istanbul to meet with an informant who claimed to have knowledge of what brought Overwatch down, which makes me smile very wide.
Oh, cannot wait for that book.
I'm gonna be so normal about that.
Somber content. Finally figuring out who blew up the Swiss base.
I'm just gasping just to gasp. Don't worry.
Imagine instead of Talon, instead of any of their enemies, it was like a reactor fail. Or a generator blew and there was a gas leak.
Cole left his cigar by something he shouldn't have.
Anna turned on the stove and forgot it. Bye-bye, Swiss HQ.
Or Brian and Torb were testing something out. And, like, when they're apart, like, when Torb is on his own building stuff, he's fine. The second Reinhardt rolls into his workshop, it's a disaster.
So yeah, that's more or less the full timeline of Anna's story so far, as of, well, technically we're recording this in December, but this will hopefully be out the week of Anna's birthday, which is on New Year's.
Happy early birthday, Anna!
Woo!
You're old!
Children, behave.
Do we want to make this episode worse with a tier list?
Ranking the best teas? What's the tier list for? Do we want to make it on most mommy and daddy issue? Since Miss Anna is the queen of giving people mommy and daddy issues. Well, mainly mommy issues. Because I think she has Daddy Shamata beat for giving someone the most amount of parent-related issues. Because she did not support her child's dreams and faked her death.
And now Fariha has to go to her funeral twice.
A tier
Hanzo
list
only
for
had to
who
go once.
has the most parental issues, and definitely number one is going to be Farah, because everyone she looked up to died, but not for realsies.
Yeah.
We're going to do who has the worst parental issues.
So
I'm
far
writing it down.
Hanzo number 2.
Hanzo number 2.
Did his issues come from his parents specifically, or from, like, his whole family, though?
His entire family. I feel like, okay, this is just my personal delusions because I'm the number one Sojiro apologist, but when you look at how he regards him, I feel like Sojiro was too busy to be, like, bad, but also, busy, but also Hanzo felt like he had to live up to that and, like, being the direct heir and all that jazz.
It's giving abandonment issues. His father was never around. He killed his brother. I'm putting Hanzo as second. And then should Genji be third because he got mauled nearly to death.
See, that's more sibling issues.
It was the elders, which he's still related to, probably.
For Genji, it's more elders because Sojiro actively, like, didn't care what Genji was doing because there was no stakes to his existence.
He was the spare child. They had him just in case. And he got over it anyways.
Oh, wait. Ramatra.
True!
Oh, I forgot about Ramatra.
He is definitely number 3.
Yeah. Because I think, your sort of parental figure being like wanting to make peace with the people that, enslaved you guys and, like, abused you guys and being like, no, we're going to make peace now. For some people, that is a major issue.
I would imagine so. Does Gabriel's son count as a character?
Unfortunately, without a name currently, I don't think we can count him.
I don't think we can. That's so sad.
Yeah.
He definitely has a lot of daddy issue potential, though, if he ever figures out that Gabriel is still alive and a terrorist.
Okay, I'm imagining, like, random Talon operation break into a civilian home. Whoa, it's Martina's new house. Whoa, there's his son. He gets caught by his son, but, like, he's wearing the mask and his son looks absolutely terrified that this shadow dude is in his house. Whoa.
You saying that reminds me that one of the newer things that came out mentioned that the SEP program might have been, like, genetically transferable to the offspring. So now I want to know more about this kid. It was in the declassified, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm reading through right now.
I remember that because all this time I'd been imagining SCP was like injections, and then finally they like show us this picture of everybody in like test tubes, and I'm like, where did this come from? Okay, so if number 4 can't be Gabriel's son, do y'all have suggestions?
Ash. Even though like it's the only reason she's not higher is because I think she views Bob more as her parental figure. And the only reason she has those issues is because Bob left her during the Omnet crisis.
To be fair, do you blame him? He wasn't like, he had no choice.
Yeah, but he did come back. If he never did, I feel like she would be like she'd be up there with Farah. She'd probably be higher than Farah. But he came back and re-cemented himself as like I'm your dad, girl. I'm the dad that stepped up. I'm the mom that stepped up.
I'm your robot father.
Her parents are just awful. They're just awful people.
Should Cole be next because he was an orphan, and then it's kind of semi-implied that he had a father-ish relationship with the Strike Commander and the Blackwatch Commander, and then they fake their own dads, and now one of them's a terrorist.
Yeah, definitely he's up there. He doesn't even want to mention his past before meeting Ash.
I'm definitely putting down
like,
Cole Cassidy.
In Declassified, there's mention of like every time people ask about his like actual biological family, he makes like Zen pre-crisis type jokes where it's different every time, just as like a comedic thing. Anyways, I found it. So Victoria Naughton, the main, I guess, scientist for the Soldier Enhancement Program, was not permitted to retain any copies of her program research, nor has she been allowed access to any data tracking her former subjects. Naughton has publicly commented regretfully on the subject, and has even formally requested that the American government unseal the program records while there is still a chance some of her subjects could be located. Quote, "I worry about them, don't I? I accepted responsibility for them. I'd always hoped the traits we'd given them would pass down to the next generation, and I suppose we'll never get to know one way or the other, with the way the government is keeping these records sealed."
Like not a good idea to do, because if you're gonna have a bunch of kids that could maybe inherit like super strength, probably tell them.
You know who definitely has access to all of that? Our buddy Sombra.
Sombra probably has them all in a group chat or something.
No, Maga destroyed them.
The group chat? Wait, he destroyed the group chats or? Oh yeah, definitely, I forgot.
Yeah.
That silly, silly man.
What are we feeling about Echo?
Echo definitely. Not just from Dr. Liao, Aurora.
Being always compared in that one Moira interaction.
This sounds bad, but like sometimes when they like parents have an only child and then that only child dies and then they have another kid and it's like, we made a replacement. It's fine. That's what it's giving.
Ugh.
I think we should only do a top 10 because we're running out of people.
I feel like Brig is down near the bottom for like.
Brig isn't great, but
yeah.
Winton, I'm feeling.
Winton and Hammond. Oh, there we are.
Because literally, Winton shares a name with Dr. Harold Winston, who died.
And he wears his glasses.
Winton is our number 7.
Lifeweaver definitely.
Well, here's the thing. He's just like, my mom's gonna be disappointed in me. Whatever.
That's like mommy issues, though.
He's already accepted that they're awful people.
He's healed, unlike everyone else. He's just like, we gotta move on, y'all. We don't got time for these parental issues.
I think he's just mega coping.
My thing is, I think number 8 should be Hampter, and number 9 could be Lifeweaver. Hampter also has the thing of being the little sibling that nobody loved as much. And that leaves us with one more, and y'all mentioned that y'all wanted Brig to be last. So I'm putting her down as number 10.
Good, Kitty.
I'm going to read the list. Let's see if this is what we want as our final. So we have number 1 is Farah, number 2 is Hanzo, number 3 is Ramatra, 4 is Ash, 5 is Cole, 6 is Echo, 7 is Winston, 8 is Hampter, 9 is Lifeweaver, and 10 is Brig.
if you agree or disagree with our tier list, it's going to be at I don't care at x.com or twitter.com, whatever you want to call it, at I don't care.
If y'all disagree with our list, you can just not say it, and you can just keep your opinions to yourself.
Or we'll sleep dart you.
Oh yeah, some more trivia. In Cassidy and or Baptiste's interactions in Overwatch 2, it is confirmed that Talon has a bounty on Anna's head, and it is larger than the one on Cassidy's. Assuming that it's the same bounty Orisa mentions in the original game, the price is definitely over $60 million.
God damn. Think of all the battle pass skins. Well, all the battle passes you could buy with that.
I would just buy the game off of Blizzard with $60 million.
I would force myself into the Lord team and just make all of my headcanons canon. Disagree with me, Reese? 1, you follow me on Twitter. 2, here's $1,000.
Now you calling someone out! Reese, we love you and all the hard work you put into those voice lines.
Reese, we love you. Thank you for following me on twitter.com. Anna's memories were used to create the A7000 War God, which it's unclear if the War God is canon or not. I'd like to think that it is, and it's still somewhere roaming the world. I don't know. The A7000 was a failed attempt to replicate the consciousness of Anna Amari inside a robotic frame. Though the unit gained Amari's ruthlessness and skill, fragments of Amari's memories corrupted the frame's memory banks. Canon or not, I think it's very cool that they've conveyed this type of storytelling through some of the voice lines that come with the mythic skin, as seen here.
My daughter! What happened? John! This place! I know this place!
I'd like to just circle back on the relationship that Cassidy and Anna have. I think it's very sweet, especially with this particular voice line from Overwatch 2.
You know, I haven't had any real competition at the range lately.
There are plenty of moving targets on the battlefield.
I'll take that as a no.
And then on top of that, in Declassified, it's even said, quotes referring to family have been confirmed to mean various members of the Deadlock Gang, or Anna and Fariha Amari. So he definitely sees them as legitimate family.
That's so cute!
And that also supports the one line between Genji and Cole, where Cole does not fully see Genji as his family because he knows Genji's family is messed up. He's just like, I already have 2 messed up families, I cannot take on another.
No thanks, I'm full. No more.
But it is established that, like, Genji and Anna have a connection as well, which makes sense.
You're hard to keep a scope on, Genji. Always so unpredictable.
Oh, I'm sorry?
Don't be. It keeps me sharp.
You know, you gotta take care of your Blackwatch children. They're very traumatized. I have so many voice lines downloaded.
Did you download Good Kitty?
Here, I'll do it later. Let me just...
Good Kitty.
Good Kitty
Good
is
Kitty.
the most,
Good
well,
Kitty.
it's the best
Good
voice line
Kitty.
in the whole
Good
entire
Kitty.
game.
There, in post I edited the voice line multiple times playing as you said that. Okay.
Yes! It's not even me saying it, it's just her saying it.
A bit more trivia. One of her final blow voice lines is in Arabic, and it translates to an Egyptian proverb that says, "Once his hair turned gray, they sent him to school," meaning an old man cannot be taught new lessons.
Does she use that? Who does she use that on? I'm guessing Ryan, Soldier, Torb. Then again, Torb is younger than her. So is Soldier, but she would definitely call him old man.
The thing is, she is aging gracefully and she still has all her hair, and Morrison went from a 4-head to an 8-head. I love him in his stupid
it isn't
receding
specific to
hairline.
anyone, I don't think. I think it's just a proverb.
So she's gonna say that to, like, Diva, who's 19?
I mean, there's already the settle down old man to Ryan, Sig, Soldier, and Torb.
Rest up, old man.
Oh yeah. I don't know how Arabic works, but when she nanos a target, depending on if they are male or female, she uses a different like conjugation of a word, I'm assuming. I don't know if there's a neutral version of it or like a default, but I guess we'll figure it out when Venture releases in like 100 days. Yeah.
100? I need to put something on my calendar.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, season 10, because we're 50 something days left till season 9, and then that's going to be 69 days, because that seems to be the normal amount of time for each battle pass.
Nice.
So that's going to be very interesting to see if we're going to get different pronoun, like gender neutral.
I can't wait for the interactions and like their entire thing. I love voice lines. They do so much to like hint at dynamics.
Props to the voice actors and the writing
Props
staff,
to
if
Reese
you are listening.
specifically.
We love you, Reese, once again.
Do you
I
have
just
more
like the
trivia
fact
for us?
that in Overwatch 2, she has voice line interactions with all of the Junker characters. She has one for Hog, which is pretty wholesome.
Stay out of trouble, Nana.
As long as you get into plenty.
Yes, ma'am.
One for Junk, which is silly, as per every single Junk voice line ever.
It's so hard to tell right from wrong. If only I had someone to give me guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Someone wise and experienced. An adoptive mother, if you will.
Oh no, absolutely not.
One for Junker Queen, which is ominous, and also implies a lot of interesting things, but we love to see. Maybe one day we'll get a Junker Anna skin. Who knows?
Have I seen you before?
It's possible. I've passed through Junkertown once or twice.
You're the one who kicked Rednet in the wicker basket!
He started it.
And then, of course, one for Wrecking Ball.
He says, if you have many aliases, why call yourself Anna?
These days, being myself is exciting enough.
Just from that interaction, I know she had an Instagram. I know she followed one of those motivational accounts.
Oh, 100%. She was definitely a TikTok girly as well. Like, her dance emote, definitely, like, I could already picture her doing it on TikTok. Just being like, hello. Yeah, don't forget, she's Gen Alpha.
That makes her like a COVID baby, right?
Jack Morrison was born based off of the map during COVID times. So that explains so much about him, why he is the way that he is.
That makes everything about him make sense.
Yes, he is the COVID baby of the old Overwatch group. Everyone else was pre-COVID.
That poor, stunted development COVID baby.
That's why he aged so badly. I'm sorry to all you COVID babies. Y'all gonna age like
Soldier 3-year-olds.
He has the JoJo Siwa receding hairline. Y'all are screwed. Oh god.
It's interesting to think about her dynamics with Sam after death. Because specifically in this voice line here...
Mom, don't you think it's time that you told Sam you're alive?
You let me worry about what your father needs to know.
I feel like they don't... I feel like they hate Sam. I would too. I also hate Sam.
Sounds like Sam doesn't have any custody of Farah, but also no child support is mentioned. More reasons to hate him?
And then... Actually, in the cookbooks, because those also have lore, fun fact.
Oh, cookbook lore!
Farah has a recipe for Canadian butter tarts because Sam is Canadian and of First Nations descent, and it reads as, with a shortbread crust and a light nutty topping, Canadian butter tarts make an excellent accompaniment to a nice steaming mug of tea. These tarts were Farah's favorite part of the time she spent in Canada during her childhood. While her relationship with her father, Sam, was complicated, she has come to enjoy sharing this special treat with him during the holidays. Their warm spiciness fends off the winter chill, no matter where she finds herself. So, complicated is an interesting word.
Mommy issues and daddy issues, pick a struggle!
We need a Farah short story. We just need a TV series. Reese, if you're listening, get on it. Start writing that
Reese,
script.
you specifically, get on it.
Good, Kitty.
I would openly sob if I saw Moira in a cinematic style.
The recent Mauga one, I watched it expecting it to be only Mauga, and then my Pookie, my baby girl, my beloved Reaper came on screen, and I have never fully recovered from that.
The fact that short dropped while I was at work and I couldn't watch it because I was already in trouble for other things.
You always remember where you are when a new thing drops for Overwatch lore.
I was in like a Bible study when Moira dropped. And I remember I screamed at one moment and someone said, "Oh, she feels the presence of God." Yes, I did. And her name is Moira.
I remember I had like just gotten off shift at work, and one of my mutuals on Twitter posted a bit of a clip of Reaper from the cinematic, and I was like, "Oh my god, where did you get this from?" And he didn't respond because he was offline. So I went to the official Overwatch account and I scrolled through every single tweet, every single retweet, every single reply until I found the video.
Heck yeah. I love the specific gif of Reaper getting thrown against like a wall by Winston. It makes me laugh every time. I don't know.
The way he lands looks similar to that one where Peter falls down the stairs. I can't be the only one who sees it.
Peter is a common name.
Brian the dog, you know that one TV show?
Oh, Peter Griffin!
Peter Griffin.
Oh, okay.
No, my brain went to Peter Parker, and I was like, when did Peter Parker fall down?
Yeah, there's a lot of Peters.
Yes.
Peter Griffin to me is just Peter Griffin.
This show isn't popular where I am, so I don't know what it's called, but clips of that occasionally make their way onto my YouTube, and that clip played, and I was like, oh my god, Reaper getting thrown into the wall.
I think I remember seeing
I'm trying to find it right now on Tenor, but...
Yeah, see, just like that. That honestly is how I like to picture all of the Overwatch ragdoll physics, which are so much better. I love seeing my character fly across the screen. Like, I don't feel bad for dying because I'm too busy laughing.
Hey, follow us on Lorewatch_ to see any visuals that we used in this episode.
Children, behave.
I also enjoy how Anna is canonically a mid-cook. She has a few recipes in the official Overwatch cookbook, and one in particular, very simple, very easy to make. The fattoush salad. As one of the ranking members of Overwatch, Anna had little time to learn how to cook between missions and training. This bright and refreshing salad is an efficient meal that Anna could put together and eat quickly before getting into her gear.
I love that she's a salad mom. She's like, okay, I don't feel like cooking, I can't cook, here's lettuce.
But that also has now confirmed that we have 2 Overwatch supports that aren't good at cooking. Let's just keep it up. None of the supports know how to cook.
Cleaver forgets to put water in his instant ramen.
He's too sexy. He doesn't need to know how to cook.
Lightweaver picks up the instant ramen, he opens the instant ramen, he sets down the instant ramen, and he gets distracted, and the noodles never get made. He has 12 open packets of noodles sitting on the counter. He's too fabulous to cook. You don't understand.
This going back to feeling bad for Farah having to cook for yourself.
Lentil soup is a reliable, hearty meal that will keep even the most unwavering military families feeling warm and peaceful all throughout the night. While Faria was younger, Anna would make this dish for the two of them after an intense day of martial arts training, once again not mentioning Sam whatsoever. Though she had little time to cook, Anna could put together a comforting lentil soup even on nights when Fariha insisted she needed nothing. My mother always knows best.
But she doesn't know when to tell her kids when she's not really dead.
I actually looked this one up prior to recording. The Ali. This Egyptian dessert is similar to a bread pudding with a lighter texture and richly spiced. This was Anna's favorite dessert as a child, and she later shared it with her daughter Fariha. Making it reminds Anna of happier days, before her nearly deadly encounter with Widowmaker.
I've actually made that one before. It was very easy to make, so it fits with the not being able to cook, and it was actually pretty good.
Let's go. This That recipe is podcast approved and tested.
Good, Kitty.
Do you guys think Cassidy has a GED?
I don't know. Like, he's smart for sure, but did he ever, like, go back and bother to finish high school?
I think he went back to get his GED after the fall of Overwatch. He was just like, oh, well, the gig I had set up for life is now over. Might as well get my GED.
Could have gotten another job, though.
He probably needed a GED to get the other job. You're going up against Omnix. He probably got it because Anna would definitely be like, bitch, you need an education. Like, she seems like the type to be like, this isn't going to be forever. Like, what's your plans for life afterwards, cowboy?
What's your safety net?
Oh no, she's a school counselor.
It seems like based off of like their voice lines and attitude, she put in more into her relationship with Cass than she did with her own daughter.
It's gotta hurt.
Yeah. But the good news is Farah's not bitter about that. I mean, it doesn't sound like she is.
I was gonna say that Anna probably gave him the talk your parents give you when you say you want to go to college for an art degree.
She definitely got that talk when she was like, Mom, I'm going into Overwatch. And she was like, oh, hell no, you're not. Like, my daughter, why don't you get like a normal degree? Like theater, like everyone else here got.
It is curious that she came from a military family but did not want Faria involved in Overwatch.
It feels like a breaking the cycle of abuse thing, but instead of abuse, it's like breaking the cycle of having a really bad job.
Yeah, but then, even then, she like stayed to she kept participating in combat operations, but didn't want Fariha to get involved. So it's kind of like semi-hypocritical? Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, only I get to be cool and a war hero. You have to be like a business major.
Good, Kitty.
More onto voice lines. Her interactions with Hanzo make me sob, and I think about that a lot. Maybe because I think about Sojiro a lot, but that's besides the point. Here are the main two that just crush my soul.
I know that look. Mending an old wound.
I wronged someone dear to me. The path to redemption is trying.
It's not pleasant, but you'll see it was worth it in the end.
I hope so. I never asked my father his opinion of me. Now he is beyond my reach.
I'm sure he was proud, even if he never said it.
How would you know?
Trust me, I know.
OMG, guys. What if she knows what it's like knows what a dead parent is feeling because she was a dead parent, which means she's still alive, which means Sojiro is still alive.
I mean, at this point, with the amount of people who have faked being dead, there's always a little part of me that's like, oh yeah, nah, he's just faking it.
I feel like she sees Farah and Hanzo in the way that like, oh, does Farah feel the same way you do? So like, you know, I gotta be, you know, I gotta save you too.
She knows what it's like to be a dead parent.
Not just a dead parent, but also kind of like a deadbeat. Both type of dead.
Hanzo was like pouring his heart out to her, and she's sitting there taking notes like, okay, so you think she'd feel like that? Yeah, I'm sure your dead dad loves you, but I gotta fix things with my daughter, okay? Keep talking.
Good, Kitty.
Anna, my favorite supportive mother, doesn't support Overwatch, but supports lesbianism.
I mean, you only win some battles. The government, boo. Lesbians, yay.
I think, okay, so like Jack, Mercy, Anna, Fariha were all in Kyra at the same time, and Reaper. Does she know about the situationship?
Between the boys? Absolutely.
Between the gals.
Oh, between the gals. Oh. I think so, because remember that one voice line where she keeps asking Mercy if... What was it?
Rest sleeping well?
Yeah. She was always cranky as a kid.
We'll play it here.
Is Fariha getting enough rest between missions?
Anna, your daughter is more than capable of caring for herself.
She never napped when she was little. She was cranky all the time.
Mom, Everyone can hear you.
Love that voice line. It's like, no matter how old you get, your mom's always gonna find your way to embarrass you, especially in front of the woman you love.
They're all losers, affectionate.
Nobody in Overwatch is cool, and I mean that in the best way.
They're all dorks, leading once back again to the theater kid theory.
Good, Kitty.
I also love the micro detail that she just wants to go on vacation somewhere tropical.
I think she mentioned specifically Fiji.
Yes, in Overwatch 2 she mentions Fiji.
One of these days I'll end up in Fiji.
And then
maybe one day we'll go on missions in Hawaii.
And then also in Overwatch 1 she has a voice line right here.
Admit it, Anna. This is better than retirement.
You haven't been to Kauai, have you?
She just wants to retire, go to Hawaii or a tropical place.
Malga's map is Samoa, right? I hope she gets a voice line for that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she didn't when it first released, because I was like, yeah, she finally gets to have her vacation, Cabana skin equipped. But I don't think there is any custom voice lines, unless she does, and we haven't logged it yet.
Maybe they're still working on it. I can be hopeful. I can have my delusions.
Mid-season patch, please add more voice lines. I love Reese. We love Reese here. Shout out to Reese. So anyways, I don't know how to outro this.
Tier list? I'm kidding.
Where can we find each other, actually? Because we have the email, and we also have the Twitter.
Indeed we do. If you would like to message or add us, we are at Lorewatch_. There we'll be posting updates, memes, the visuals for the episode, as we said. We also have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Blue Sky even. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to our very, very, very scuffed podcast. It means so much to us if you've made it this far, if you've survived. And yeah, follow us on Spotify, check us out on YouTube, follow me to my workplace, follow me to my house.
Follow me down into this very convenient hole in my wine cellar and then crawl inside, and then I'm gonna board it back up behind you. You'll be fine.
And if you're wondering what our individual accounts are, they're pretty easy to find, but we won't say them right here yet because we want to, see how you guys enjoy the podcast. And if you hate it, you don't get to attack us as easily,
If you guys are nice, guys get to hear our personal handles. If you guys are mean, you'll never hear from us again.
Exactly.
Once again, a big happy birthday to Anna Amari as we celebrate you and all that you have done for Overwatch. Best support, best sniper,
good kitty.
Worst
good
mom.
kitty. Yes, unfortunately, worst mom. We all can't be winners.
You win some, you lose some. And you lose contact with your daughter sometimes.
But you know what they say. In the desert.
In the desert.
In the desert.
In the
desert.
Kitty.
Good
In the
kitty.
desert. In the desert. Children behave. And with that, this has been Lorewatch. See you next Thursday. I've been your host, Geese Goose.
And I've been the most deranged guest yet, Rhea's Thighs.
And I'm Linnea. I'm just here. Bye.
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 Insert Midtown theme beat drop here.
I tried the Soldier 76 milkshake, and then within the same year, I got 7 cavities filled. Not saying it's related, but...
That's why you don't trust men from Indiana.